In today's movie recap, a short-statured boy named Oscar, who stops at nothing to satisfy himself. He acts like a small boy and take advantage. So let's dive in. The story begins with a woman named Anna working in her fields when a man named Joseph comes running toward her, trying to escape the police. He pleads for her help, and Anna hides him inside her cave. Joseph takes advantage of the situation and forces himself on her inside the cave. After the police leave, he comes out, and surprisingly, they grow close and become friends. Eventually, the two begin living together and got a daughter. One day, however, the police spot Joseph again. Before they can arrest him, he jumps into a river and escapes. Rumors spread about Joseph. Some say he drowned, while others believe he fled to America, where he became a wealthy businessman and is now living a luxurious life. Meanwhile, Anna and her daughter Agnes are shown struggling to make ends meet by selling goods in the market. Agnes is in teenage now. Agnes is in love with her cousin Jan, who works at a Polish post office. At the same time, Anna is romantically involved with Alfred, a German chef. From these relationships, a child named Oscar is born. From birth, Oscar cries nonstop and only quiets down when his mother promises him a tin drum on his third birthday. On his birthday, when he sees people drinking and a dog dancing at the party, he decides he never wants to grow up. To make this happen, he deliberately falls down the stairs and stops growing permanently, remaining a 3-year-old forever. Oscar always carries his tin drum and screams loudly if anyone tries to take it away. His scream is so powerful it can shatter glass. Doctors are baffled by this ability, but his family is more concerned about why he isn't growing. We later learn that every Thursday, Agnes takes Oscar to the city and leaves him at a shop while she visits Jan, and the two engage in losing some calories. One day, Oscar catches on to what his mother is doing. Years go by, and Oscar turns 12, though his body remains that of a toddler. One day, he visits the circus with his mother and presumed father. There, they watch dwarf performers on stage, and his parents start to believe Oscar may be a dwarf too. After the show, Oscar meets a dwarf named Deborah, who is impressed by his talents and offers him a job at the circus. But before Oscar can accept, his parents arrive and take him home. Later, we find out that the shopkeeper who used to watch over Oscar while Agnes went to see Jan also fell in love with Agnes. He proposes they move to London together with Oscar, but Agnes declines and walks away. Soon after, she discovers she's pregnant with Jan's child. Overwhelmed with stress, Agnes, despite hating it, eats a large amount of fish. Her stress-induced eating leads to tragic consequences. Meanwhile, Alfred, Agnes's husband, doesn't care whose child she is carrying. All he wants is for Agnes to be happy. However, after Oscar's birth, Agnes never truly feels joy again. She doesn't want to have another child, and in a state of emotional distress, she consumes an excessive amount of fish, something she normally dislikes. As a result, she suffers from food poisoning and tragically passes away. A few years later, we see Oscar trying to get his broken drum repaired. All of this is happening during a turbulent time. Germany is invading Poland and attempting to take full control. At the same time, Polish workers at the post office are preparing to resist the German forces. But suddenly, the Germans launch a surprise attack. Many people are killed in the assault, including January. Oscar barely survives and manages to escape. Soon after, we see Alfred hiring a 16-year-old girl named Maria to work at his shop. Maria not only helps with the store, but also looks after Oscar. Over time, Oscar develops feelings for her. Although he is the same age as Maria, she still sees him as a child and doesn't take his feelings seriously. One night, while Alfred is away on a trip, Oscar sneaks into Maria's blanket like a little mouse and initiates his train. Maria surprisingly doesn't resist and even seems to enjoy it, allowing Oscar to grow closer to her emotionally. But their growing bond takes a hit when Oscar discovers that Maria is having an affair with Alfred and that she deeply loves him. However, Alfred is only using her. When Maria finds out the truth, she is heartbroken and breaks down in tears. Oscar tries to comfort her and take advantage of the situation emotionally, but Maria becomes furious, calls him a dwarf, and kicks him in the backside. A few days later, it is revealed that Maria is pregnant with Alfred's child. Oscar didn't want the baby, but Maria didn't let him. A few days later, Maria gave birth to a baby boy. Everyone around her was filled with joy, except Oscar. He wasn't happy at all. Watching the celebrations, he couldn't shake the feeling that the child was actually his. Meanwhile, Oscar's old friend Deborah, who had risen to a high-ranking position in the Nazi army during World War II, invites Oscar to join his team. They were scheduled to perform in Paris, and Oscar, along with a group, begins showcasing his talents to large audiences. During this time, Oscar falls in love with fellow performer named Roswitha. Many days pass, and Oscar seems truly happy, living life on his own terms, doing what he loves, and being surrounded by friends. But then tragedy strikes. An American air raid hits their location. Roswitha is killed in the bombing. Devastated, Oscar returns home. Back home, Oscar brings a gift from Maria's 3-year-old son, a tin drum exactly like the one he had received at the same age. However, Maria is not at all happy to see Oscar. In contrast, Alfred is overjoyed to have his son back. He goes as far as hiding Oscar from people who want to take him to the hospital for treatment, believing that Oscar is not different from others and doesn't need fixing. As tensions rise in the city and things become more dangerous, Alfred hides Oscar and a neighbor named Lena in the basement of their home. At the same time, Alfred also has to keep his Nazi identity secret. One day, Russian soldiers storm into the house. In front of Alfred, they begin assaulting Lena. Meanwhile, to help hide Alfred's Nazi identity, Oscar gives him an insignia that proves his affiliation. In a desperate move, Alfred swallows the insignia. Tragically, it gets stuck in his throat, and he chokes to death. The next morning, a man named Marie arrives at Alfred's shop. The man named Marie turns out to be the new owner of the shop. After taking over, he organizes Alfred's funeral. Having recently lost his own wife and child, Marie deeply understands the pain of losing a loved one. After Alfred's death, Oscar comes to the painful realization that he is now completely alone in the world. With this, he makes a life-changing decision. He will finally grow up. To mark this transition, Oscar buries his beloved tin drum alongside Alfred. But just as he does, a stone suddenly strikes Oscar on the head, knocking him unconscious. At that moment, a man nearby remarks that Oscar has finally started to grow. In the final scenes of the film, we see everyone leaving the city, everyone except Anna, who chooses to stay behind in the very place where this story began. Oscar, now older, realizes that his supernatural ability to shatter glass with his screams is gone. And with that, the movie comes to an end. So friends, how did you like the video? If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video. Thank you.